Ever since his retirement at the end of the 2019 season, Paul Menard has become somewhat of a living meme in the NASCAR social media sphere. His rather laid-back and quiet nature draws similarities with Kimi Räikkönen in F1. However, unlike Räikkönen, Paul Menard didn't leave as much of an impact on the record books. He has only one win in the Cup Series, that coming at the Brickyard 400 in 2011 when he beat out Jeff Gordon on fuel mileage. He also has 3 wins in the Xfinity Series, but one thing I should note is an absurd tally of 102 top 10s in only 220 starts. That means in 46% of the races he ever started in the second tier series, he was in the top 10. A lot of people like to write him off as just another pay driver, but the man could drive pretty damn well. For this video though, I'm focusing on his success outside the top 3 series. More specifically, his lone ARCA series win in 2003, where Paul Menard did something that I don't think has happened since. This is the story behind Paul Menard's lone ARCA win. The year is 2003, and a 23-year-old Paul Menard is racing in the Cup Series, Xfinity Series, Truck Series, and ARCA for Andy Petree Racing. Each of these part-time seasons were interesting, but for this video we'll only focus on his time in ARCA. Menard had made 3 ARCA starts before the 2003 Food World 300 at Talladega. These 3 starts only yielded a 4th place finish at Salem, as the other 2 both ended in retirement. It was looking like Talladega would be the worst race yet, as Menard struggled to get his number 33 Chevy up to speed. This eventually led to Paul Menard failing to qualify for the race entirely. During the same qualifying session, the number 26 of Brad Smith would catch on fire but was still allowed into the show on a provisional. However, Brad Smith would be injured and couldn't drive, so in a deal with Andy Petree and Brad Smith, Paul Menard would drive the number 26 instead. Despite that being an interesting development, the pre-race show was more focused on Hendrick Motorsports Prepared 87 driven by some 18-year-old named Kyle Busch, who would start from pole position. Bobby Gerhart was starting alongside, Frank Kimmel, trying to lock up his 5th title, would start from 15th, and Menard would start in 38th. Getting to the start of the race, there was already issues for Kyle Busch, who lost radio communications and was promptly black flagged coming to the green. Then, as soon as he was black flagged, his radio fixed itself. Despite that kerfuffle, Bobby Gerhart still took the lead from lap 1 and would hold it until lap 7 when Chase Montgomery would take control of the race. 2 laps later, Darrell Basham would hit the outside wall after blowing a right rear tire. By this point, Paul Menard had made from 38th to 8th in only 9 laps, which is absolutely insane. We would attempt to restart on lap 12, but Vern Slaw, racing at the ripe age of 63, would get into the back of the number 49 driven by Dan Shaver in the Tri-Oval. The accident would end both of their races and collect another 2 cars who would continue on with minimal damage. The green flag was temporarily out, but the yellow would come out again shortly after, giving Andy Belmont the opportunity to unlap himself. It was looking good until Chase Montgomery and Andy Belmont would get together in the Tri-Oval. Thankfully, since these cars have valences and not splitters, the front end of Andy's car wasn't turned into sheet metal linguine. Then another few cars would run through the grass on the next restart, bringing out a 3rd caution. The green flag would come out in lap 24, and by lap 28, Menard was battling for the lead with Chase Montgomery and David Stremme. Soon after this, another caution would come out for a turn 3 crash that would bring the field down pit road for the first round of pit stops. Paul would get relegated down to 27th, but as we saw in the beginning, he had a very fast car to cut through the field. After only 6 laps on the next restart, he was in the top 15, and by the next caution on lap 54, he was running 8th. The race would restart on lap 60, but wouldn't last very long as debris would be left on the backstretch. During this yellow, Paul Menard inherited the lead as Chase Montgomery ran into issues. With Menard in the lead, he took control of the race, leading the last 52 laps on his way to win the 2003 Food World 300, winning the same race he had failed to qualify for just a day prior. This would be Menard's only win in ARCA, as he would make only 3 more starts in the series. So that was the story of Paul Menard's lone ARCA win. I'm sorry if this voiceover was a bit lackluster. I'm suffering from seasonal allergies. I honestly feel pretty terrible. If you enjoyed this video regardless, let me know in the comments and check the top link in the description to watch this race for yourself. Thanks for watching and have a great afternoon.